again, and welcome back to Kleiner's Kravenarium, Chapter 3, Episode 4. I still don't know what to call this one. I guess now that it's been revealed, I can call it Bindricker, which is kind of what I wanted, but I didn't want to say that early on because it would have given too much away. Welcome back, everybody. The whole cast is here. I'm going to Kermit the Frog it. Just because of my age, I can do that, and people will, yeah. Who was
We
that?
get it. We get it.
Well,
get
some of the people here, yeah. I mean,
I get it.
I know.
He's a meme. Oh. That was intentional. I know who Kermit is.
Son of a bitch.
That was an intentional piece of comedy.
Welcome back. So yes, we are picking up where we left off after the hanging of one of the locals here, who was not the one, if you've been paying attention, who they originally selected for the ritual. So Lorgi, who is the father of the young girl who disappeared, was passed over for a man who had no family, Norvast Betterman. And Norvast was there, and Steinar and Cyrus attempted very honorably and nobly to try to save him. Steinar gave one of his classic Steinar shots, broke the rope so the man wouldn't hang, because they didn't snap his neck. They just hoisted him 8 feet off the ground. And then as he was choking out, Steinar broke the rope. But instead of the reaction of run, 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 the creature came and he ran towards it. And then Cyrus tried to intervene, but unfortunately the fear took over and it was just too much. And we saw that grotesque, terrible situation. We have someone here who actually does some artwork for us, and one day hopefully she will give us permission to let that picture out so that you can see the horror that she dreamt in her mind, because she got off the episode and Brennan was set about 20 minutes later said, "This kept me up for a little bit, so I drew it." And I went, "Oh my god, did I describe it that way? Oh Jesus!" So yeah, it was pretty.
It was sick.
It was
good.
It was good. So yes, so that's where we'll pick up. So team, it is the screams were heard, the eye popped, the vomit happened, and you're back at camp. Unless you want to stop into the town and chastise everyone through their windows and doors and scream, "You're bad people. This is very bad." Like, I'm not sure what your plan is, but someone does come. We're going to start it this way. Someone comes running down to meet you as you're coming off the beach, shaken visibly, and they're like, "Mr. Cyrus, your city is awake." Good reaction. Great. Okay, so we'll move on from that. Mr. Cyrus, good reaction. Sven, we're just going to say Sven.
This is right after this thing disappears?
Yes. Right after.
Well, then he's just sort of stunned and it's like slowly turning around.
Yeah, like, boy, I'll flog you if you speak to me like that again.
Actually, he's just like, did you see that?
Oh, you're still in that kind of shock. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm sorry.
Oh.
Maybe I was not portraying that. Well, if I apologize.
No, it's me. I overjumped. Dead air makes me nervous, but that's okay. It's my fault. So yeah, so Cyrus is still in a state of absolute trembling. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that I need to go down to the beach. This thing drug off his corpse, right?
It didn't. It left it kind of. Oh no, I think yes. I'm sorry, I drug it off. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. In the storm, like the big storm came, took it out to sea. Right. Okay. It's been a hot minute. So I want to go out and I just want to look. I just want to see if there's anything additional that I can glean about this thing from what is left on the beach.
Okay.
I know we saw a lot, but I don't want to leave any stone unturned at this point. So
Sure. Anybody else going towards the creepy beach, or is everyone heading back to Yesenia and having like conversation and checking on her?
I'm happy to go back and check on Yesenia, or would my eyeballs be better served on the beach?
Well, you have that. Everybody can see Vaesen, but you see things even a little bit better than they do in that regard, because most of the time you don't see shit. So it's just shadows. Yeah. So if you want to stay with Steinar, that's up to you.
I will stay.
Okay. What a brave 14-year-old girl you are.
Yeah. A mere slip of a thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody else heading back, helping Cyrus get back to the camp outside of town.
Yeah, I'll help Cyrus get back.
Yes. Cyrus gets back that way. All right, so you'll be back with Yesenia in a few minutes. On the beach, let's have a roll. Yeah, do it's observation on this one, gang. So
observation or investigation? Because I'm taking my time.
That's good. That one's good.
Investigation. Okay.
Do you want me to roll investigation too?
What do you got?
Yep.
What do you have? You have
your number overall, basic.
Yeah.
Are you a good investigator, or are you more of a blind observer?
They're I would prefer to investigate.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
1.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Logic. Okay. I got nothing.
Okay.
Off of 7 dice.
What a night.
Start.
It's a great. It's a great start.
That's delicious. Get it out of the way now.
Let that happen just a couple more times. What you see on the beach is
that's unkind.
No, not at all. What you see on the beach is some of the bile, some of the fluids were spilling out the front of his face and eye socket where the creature was extracting to these great spasmodic draws of its as it tried to pull the bone and its effluence up through the eye socket of the person. Some of that is puddled and the sand is still wet, and you can see globs of it there. Other than that, it's just cadaverous looking barefoot prints dragging something heavy away.
We need to put that goop in a jar.
Do you have a jar? Because I was thinking the same thing.
Do I have a jar?
Hold on.
Let me check my Puritan pockets.
I don't.
No.
So.
But here's Steinart. If you give me, if you give me a logic roll, just straight logic.
All right.
How many dice you have in that?
3.
Go ahead. Just give me a straight logic roll. If you get any success, it's good enough.
All right. Nope.
Okay. I was going to say
there's
something.
Wrap it in some cloth.
Well, it dissolves bone.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
I'll tear off a piece of these old trousers, and I'm sure I've got an extra pair somewhere. Sure. And I will attempt to slide it under. I don't want it to touch my skin, and obviously I don't want her touching it at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So the blind girl is not going to be good at fine motor. Well, she can't see it, so hey, just hold it still.
It's like a meatball,
right? Go to the right. Just a little to the right. Okay.
It has that consistency of Italian food. Don't touch it. Please don't touch it.
Please don't touch it. And so try to get it in some cloth.
Yeah, it's the cloth begins to just disintegrate very rapidly.
Shit.
It's telling. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So whatever this is, it's pretty potent acid.
It's to the point where the sand, you were trying to get underneath it, the sand itself is like just massing. Like it feels like it's fusing. Like you're going, it's actually, the sand isn't just sticky from wet. It's actually like hard to break apart. It's like you'd have to crack it where it's already started to dry. It's fusing sand.
So it was making solids, liquids, and
now that it's digested what it is, whatever that it didn't put back into its body. Once it hits the sand, it's starting to harden the sand, not just make it wet and moldable. It's actually like you got to crack it. Like, oh, that's really
interesting.
Just a thin layer. It's just fusing.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that we find other than the bile?
No.
Yeah. And obviously, we're not Batman, so we don't have a detective's kit to be able to try anything else out.
No, but Mercy can talk like him if you try.
Yeah, right.
I'm Batman.
All right.
Let's head back. Fine. That's all I want.
So obviously this thing drinks bones. Okay, so that's good.
Thank you, Christian Bale.
Thank you, Mercy Clark. All right, so the Adelaide and Cyrus go back up the hill through the village. Adelaide, the doors are shut, windows are covered over. if there's shutters on some of the older homes or some of the homes that were fortunate enough to have that kind of, extra money to put shutters on things and for storms and stuff, which I probably in this part of the world, it's probably not as uncommon as you would think. So I mean, because I've seen photos now, but that's all modern glass, like old glass and stuff. They probably shuttered the windows. They've closed doors. Some people have hung old Nordic symbols that they've attached to the front of their doors, like to ward off evil. All this kind of crap is just evident everywhere. The only house where light is coming out from under the door, where they're not in the dark with only maybe a candle on, but nobody can see that, like they're just that you can see, is the Torghese, where the little Davina had been missing. If I'm getting her name right, I just want to make sure I said that, because I think it was, is that right? Delvia. I'm sorry, Delvia, where the little girl has been missing. That's the only house with any light on. And that was the man who was supposed to be in the gallows tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Cyrus and you make it through town. You get outside. It's 3/4 of a mile or so up into the pastures. And sure enough, Yesenia is there, and she's just eating, like trying to just carb up after the coma. Gotta put some weight back on. Yeah, starving a little bit. Do you have any chicken paprikash? Got anything like from the old country? I need a really good stick to the ribs type
goulash. Like I could use a good goulash.
Yeah, right now they show you they have dried salted cod and a loaf of bread left. That's about all these people are giving them. It hasn't been the hearty fare that they've been hoping for.
So Cyrus, in a very uncharacteristic, quiet, sort of pensive tone, walks towards her, sits down next to her, and then just sort of quietly says, "What do you remember from your dreams?"
Clowns. A clown. An awful clown.
We all experienced clowns. But you did not wake. We woke, but you did not. I believe I woke last, but I could be wrong. And you did not wake. I thought you would wake with me. What happened to you in your dream that you were held for so long, a prisoner of it?
I don't know. It's all really fading quickly. It was like I was there, but I couldn't talk, but I could hear people talking to me from long ago. The voices were familiar, but I don't remember them now. I don't know.
Do you have any maladies that have followed you out of this dream? Do you still feel ill in any way that we may attend to you or help you in your illness?
No, I feel like I'm starving, but I feel fine.
I'm sorry. You're welcome to all we have. Unfortunately, on this barren island, the folks have not been too kind to us. They are not pleased that we are here. We are left to our own meager devices.
Where are we?
The horse has traveled us very far north. I blame him for his errant ways. We are in an island far north above that of Scotland. We are in the northern Atlantic, I believe they are called, and he looks towards Adelaide, the Faroe Islands, I think they call them, something like that.
The Faroe Islands, yes. Where the nearest town is a few miles out.
God himself, I am sure, has not visited this place in some time.
So why are we here?
Ask the horse. And he looks around for the horse.
This damn nag.
I am beginning to wonder why we follow such a perturbing creature.
Perturbing creature.
He is becoming more trouble than he is worth.
So what is going on?
We have stumbled across some sort of truly horrific creature that these people have made a devil's bargain with, and they are handing this creature people to consume and eat in exchange for, I can only guess, an ability to live on in this meager and horrible way. He looks at Adelaide. Correct me if I am wrong, child. Things have gone awry.
They're making sacrifices, and I think they believe that it protects them from the will of nature, some sort of plague. These terrible things happen to them if they don't perform these sacrifices. But whoever they think they're sacrificing to, I don't think it's the one. I think it's something else. It's not their god.
It does seem as though they believe the creature is something other than what it is, but they will not listen to reason. They are not people you can even have a conversation with. They are beyond dry. They are much worse than the Quakers. They are a dry folk.
We apologize to any Quaker that
We
may be
apologize to
watching.
any Quakers or any people with long beards and no mustaches that might be listening or watching this podcast.
I'm looking around for mercy.
There are some
Quakers are too
unhappy
liberal.
people.
They're too liberal. They have outlandish ideas about friendship and oatmeal.
Granola eaters.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see
fan of
Patreon
granola.
demographics on that.
I believe they might actually eat gravel. It is possible. They are so sour-minded. But it is possible, though I am harsh in my words, that they are feared and they believe that if we are here, we are bringing condemnation upon them. I could be wrong in my assessments. I, like a fool, tried to charge this creature, and one quick gaze of it upon my eyes, the visage of this creature, shook me to the core and sent me to my knees like a small child. I am so very ashamed. And he sort of looks down and then sort of wanders off, mumbling to himself.
So I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna run up behind Cyrus and I'm gonna give him a hug and I'm gonna hang on really tight because I've been really scared for a long time.
He turns around, my dear child.
It's okay.
It will be
It's okay.
I will be fine. I was worried about you. We were all worried about you. Your puppets had gone silent, and although they frightened the living daylights out of me, I have become so, well, they have become dear to me as you have, and we were worried about you. I am so glad that you are back with us again amongst the living. And he hugs her back.
I love you too, Cyrus.
Do not push it, woman.
So I'll go back and sit down and I'll pull Robin up out of my pocket, sitting next to me.
Robin's kind of just like, looking at you like, he's a little bit aghast that you were hugging on to some other man like that. He's like, what's going on here? He was trying to wear you like a cloak.
Robin now sees Cyrus as a competitor.
Yes, I'll duel him. But yes, Robin animates, with not too much effort. You're able to control the minor actions when you're, still awake, I guess. So that's fine. And he just sits there and he's looking at you like he's so happy to see that you're awake. He's
Yeah.
So in time, Mercy and Steiner make their way back up the hill. Unless the two of you also seeing the same things in the village had any interest of stopping somewhere. No, everybody heading back. Okay.
No. I have a theory. The theory that maybe the father of the missing girl was spared because she's missing, and I'm thinking in my head, if I was one of these villagers, I'll wait to share with the group.
All right, so
because I realized I shared that theory first off camera. So I'll share with the group.
Yeah, but back everybody comes. You're all regathered together again, right around the campfire and or the cooking tent and stuff where they have the coffee running all the time and the bit. There is mumbles though, and any of you can hear them as you're making your way through about why are we here? How much longer are we staying? This doesn't look, this is a bad place to be. There's no money to be made here. Why are we here? Why are we here? So there's a lot of questions. Everybody realizes that, Kleiner's isn't just a circus, right? But it is supposed to make money. It's supposed to be something that can self-sustain. And to a lot of these people, while they're not facing touched, so they go by what the cast tells them is going on, and right now they're getting a little concerned. I mean, the food stores have been thin to begin with, and they don't even want us setting up the tents. Like, yeah, you've only pitched the habitation tents, none of the performer tents, because you were told not to, right? So yeah, there's starting to be a little bit of a rumbling, a little bit concerned. But Yesenia waking up is a good thing. So, but the team, the five of you have been regathered together, which is very important. So, Mercy, you wanted to address everybody and tell them what your theory was.
First of all, Yesenia, it's beautiful. It's wonderful to see you awake. You've been asleep for so long. It's good to have you back amongst the waking people. Had a theory, had a thought as you were walking up the beach. First of all, the vomit from the bone drinker's mouth. It's very acidic, and some of it landed upon the sand and was changing the nature of the sand, making it hard and coarse. And anyway, we need a jar. I'd like to go back and get it. We didn't have a jar. Steiner ruined his pants in an attempt to retrieve it. He ripped his pants. Not.
It was purposeful. I want to make that really clear.
Yes. Anyway, so
sabotage my own pants.
Well, as we were walking up, I had a thought. The man who was first marked for death, the father of the missing girl, Lorgy, I believe his name was, he is not the dead man. He was not the man sacrificed to this creature. Why? Could it be that his wife, who was so desperately pleading for him to be spared because, his child is missing, he should be with his child at the end, like, don't let him die before he sees her. What if? Now, I know that some of my ideas since we've been here haven't been the best, i.e. pretending that I was taken by the creature and then, I'm back again, and it just angered the villagers. Yesenia, you've missed so much. But we can gloss over that.
Out of character for you, Mercy.
What?
That's awfully brazen.
What is?
Well, like to fake kidnapping and.
Well, another young child was kidnapped, so I'm like, what happens if it too? But anyway, what if she wasn't kidnapped at all? What if, hear me out, the mother has absconded away and spirited the child off somewhere in order to spare her husband's life, and is just pretending, and it's putting the villagers into a frenzy because something's gone wrong that it's not supposed to. It's disrupting the ritual. I don't know. Humans sacrifice in the madness of crowds. People do ridiculous things. I've seen villagers turn on one another and kill each other in the name of belief, or so I've heard.
Your theory is fine and even plausible, but I don't think it's the real problem here.
Well,
the child is not even remotely my concern anymore. This creature is.
I have a question.
Yeah. Sure.
So I'm kind of late to the party, but how is the sacrifice chosen?
Apparently by lottery.
So if it's by lottery, a change at the last minute shouldn't be impactful.
Perhaps.
Unless it's really not by lottery.
I will say, the houses that are the houses of the men that are marked to die, very long, thin fingers, as if somebody or something dipped in blood or red paint, dragged its long, creepy fingers down a door. That thing had very long, creepy fingers. Maybe it's meant to imitate that. Maybe it is the mayor. I wonder if his name's in the lottery.
What if it chooses the people?
Oh, see, that was what I was thinking.
The marks on the doors are from the creature itself rather than from one of the townsfolk, as we had originally thought. Perhaps it is marking.
Perhaps.
We've
Well,
only
how long-
seen the hand on the door of the missing girl's house, right?
You have only officially seen the mark on the girl's house.
Right.
We didn't see it on Norvast's house?
Well, there
No.
was.
I don't think we looked, but yeah.
The 9 names are chosen, and then the order is done traditionally by these marks that are left on a door to imitate, as Mercy's theory is, the idea of the Bindricker coming and selecting someone. But they changed the order, and they did that with a random pull from the bowl of the 9 names, of the 8 other names. And that put a man who was not by the, again, if you go with the belief of the gods and the traditions, and it was not his time. So there could be something there. You're right. If it's truly random, what difference would it make who goes when? Right?
Right.
It's just a body, unless there's more to it than that.
Right.
And my green screen is causing all kinds of havoc with my camera. So we're going to fix that.
So we have
Better.
a creature
Mhm.
that is demanding sacrifice
That they're giving sacrifices.
in
to.
order for
We didn't actually
protection. Is that,
observe
is
it
that
being
what
intelligent.
The theory
anyway,
is,
did
or is
It was feral. I would say it has a feral intelligence. I don't think you know of it. Like, you never heard it speak. It didn't.
we? Yeah.
Right.
So maybe it's just coming up for its meal. Okay. We're speculating a lot here. What we know is it drinks liquefied bones. They're giving up 9 people to it. Little girl's missing. I'm just worried about the liquefied bone drinking creature crawling out of the sea. That's my primary problem right now. And can we stop that from drinking the bones of 8 more people?
so
I
sacrifice?
don't know. And here's a wild, wacky, crazy idea. It's going to be very unpopular, but I'm going to give another wild, wacky, crazy idea. What if we just left?
We're waiting on the bone, aren't we? I thought it was like 2 or 3 weeks out. I think we already
Yeah,
have
we could eat gruel for a couple of days, move to a different Faroese island village.
I could be
This
wrong,
thing-
but I do not believe the host will allow us to leave. It
Oh.
will most
We could
likely
leave Max
force-
here, come back in 2 weeks.
It's just that we've never seen anything like this. This isn't some tree spirit or some sort of imp where you ask it to gently, could you move on, please?
Mhm.
This thing, it liquefies human bones
Okay.
and drinks them up like sweets.
Yeah, it looked like when you drink Mylanta and you leave some on and it gets on your lips and they go white. That was the look down his whole chest.
Jesus Christ.
So does he?
But my
It-
Lanta- I mean,
The thing, Bindriker.
Bendricker, yep.
Does it have a? Where does it go?
back
I
in
don't
the
know.
ocean.
Yeah, it looks like it ran towards the ocean. Yeah.
So
Fog rolled in, bad weather. It just,
Yeah. It came in on the bad weather, sucked the bones out, and left with the bad weather.
Yeah,
Weather.
it wasn't. It
That was
wasn't here to make friends.
No, it was not.
It could have so easily turned on, and she looks at Steiner and Cyrus. It could have easily turned on the 2 of you. And what would you have been able to do? Not that you're not incredibly capable men. Nothing.
So what religion or belief or god or deity or spirit do they worship?
This is all Nordic, so
Yes.
Odin's already been quoted once or
Mhm.
twice.
Yes.
Odin lost an eye. That's pretty.
Mhm.
That's well known. This is the mythology of my people, but we haven't been able to glean a whole lot else from this.
Yes.
So
Is there
this
not
isn't
a-
a
is there
standard
not a-
creature? This isn't.
is there
part
not
of
a
the mythology.
Central
There's a mayor.
days or
There is like a
temple?
mayor of the town
Mm.
who is an obstinate fellow, to say the least.
Yes. Well, Yesenia, I feel you would appreciate this. Mercy grabs the book of creepy, horrible Nordic children's tales and hands it to her.
Oh wow!
Yes,
Happy.
The postmistress provided us this, and dear Adelaide has been kind enough to help me memorize it, and I'm learning to speak Faroese, by the way. But in this book, all of the stories are about monsters and trolls and things eating children who step out of line, who trust outsiders, and just in general get up to mischief. Very bloody, very gruesome. I figured you would appreciate it for when we leave this place. It is yours.
Oh, thank you. If you
Mercy.
can help me translate it, then
Yes.
I can make plays out of it.
Yes.
Oh, the
good.
puppets will love it.
Oh, great.
I love that she adds that it punishes children who trust outsiders.
Right.
That's the point of the book.
That is true.
Mercy, was there anything in there? Was there a story in there where the child defeated or ran off one of these creatures or monsters? And if so, what was the solution to that? Or how did it do that?
Keeper?
In this book, that's a great question, and that may be where you need to try to find another book or another piece of legend or talk to the people. But in this book, the 5 or 6 tales that were collected, just one after the other is pounding the message: don't talk to people outside the village. You will be grabbed by this thing. We have to keep it at bay. And in the end, what you feel it is that the children are spared. Remember, Sven said that we don't have accidents anymore. The islands take care of their own, right? We don't have men lost at sea like when the Christian guy was here. We don't have terrible famine. We haven't had a blight. We haven't had the fish not being where they're supposed to be. When we take care of this thing every 20 years, when we do Nahankta, the island runs perfectly smoothly. The islands in general. So the children don't go missing. Like, that's what's freaking them out about the kid missing, right? Was that normally that if Bindrika is being prepared and we're doing the ceremony, why is he taking a child? That's not right. So that's why,
So Messenia, that's why Mercy decided, I'm going to be missing. How is that going to make the villagers respond? Basically, they shut down even more, and it was get the fuck out. Like,
they went like, oh, this thing is really pissed. We don't know why yet. Okay, go. Just go.
Yeah. No friends.
Correlation doesn't equal causation. So I'm a learned man, and certainly Cyrus and Mercy seem to be as well. And that's, I don't buy this idea that sacrificing to this creature is going to keep everybody,
of course,
perennially safe.
So have you explored the outside perimeter of the village to see if you see signs of the little girl's passage?
The whole caravan, the circus itself, everyone paired off in 2s and 3s and walked all the way to the foothills. The Faroe Islands are very, very crag-like and I mean, there's points that are just super stark. If you get a chance to watch a video, there's so many on YouTube, 3 or 4 minute flyovers with drones. It's insane. They're absolutely magnificently gorgeous if you like that Norwegian sort of landscape. But you see very quickly that everything just goes, it slopes to the sea, but then goes way up into the sky, not far from that. And there's just these there's pastoral land, and then it goes into these crags. And they searched everywhere they thought feasibly for that little girl to get to or be around by herself, unless she was taken somewhere away, like if she had wandered off. They searched everywhere they thought they could, and they didn't find any hide nor hair of her.
I'm sorry, did you guys say there's not a cemetery or any kind of burial
There is,
site
and it
on the
hasn't
island?
been in use since 1821. And it's 1865 right now, right? So it's been about 30 or 40 years since the Catholic, or whichever, probably Lutheran, the Lutheran minister that tried to come to the islands and set up and they gave him time. Like, he was here for a while and things were going okay. And then it started to fall apart and they just drove him off.
Got it.
And there's been no Christian funeral burial in that cemetery since that day. They've gone back to their other ways.
Got it.
Keeper, help me recall, did we find out what happened to that guy? Did they just, okay, we did.
You don't need to know.
Okay. All right. I got 2 ideas. First of all, let's go back to that church and let's see if we can't dig up his personal effects.
Okay.
My guess is maybe they just, if they killed him or gave him over to Bindricker, that maybe his personal effects are still there.
Yep.
And then likewise, let's head back into town, barge our way into anything that might look like a library or a school of some sort. Small place, so that might be one and the same. But
and you're doing that tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody agreeing with that? Everybody's heading back into town now?
Yeah, let's go.
Yep.
All right, can we hit the church first?
Sure.
Let's do the church first.
Church first?
Cool.
All right. Team makes its way to the church. Yesenia, you're bringing Polly Pockets. What do you have with you? Just so I know. Is there any particular...
I'm going to bring the girl with me, and I'm going to bring Willie with me.
Okay. Willie. I just want to do Barnabas Collins every time because I just...
I
he
love
beat that
show.
kid so bad. You're being very wrong, Billy. Willie, come here, Willie. It's just I hear Barnabas every time I hear the word Willie. Yeah. So the team makes its way back down with a lantern right into the middle of town. There are now it's pretty late. Like it's 1:30 in the morning. So you get to the old church. It is just like it was hours ago. It's totally normal and boarded up. It's an old whitewashed building that with a small steeple. There's no real bell in the bell tower. There's a bell that stood on the side of it that they could ring because they didn't build up a big bell or forge one. But yeah, the cemeteries are here. You look around, you see nothing that says minister, father, or preacher like on a tombstone. So it doesn't appear that he was buried here. But you make your way into the building and you can find your way in relatively easy, just like last time, and start looking around. When you get to the small part of the church where he lived behind it that was attached, it's a little outbuilding that kind of sits to the side of it.
Yep.
His personal effects are there. Now, if you want to make, go ahead and make an investigation roll for me, Steiner.
Okay.
And anybody else who's with Steiner, not looking around the church itself for special books or anything, if you're in this little room and you have normal vision, you can make an investigation roll.
2.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's more than enough for the team.
Well,
Steiner,
I got 2.
awesome. So Adelaide and Steiner
Oh yeah.
pretty quickly come up with the idea that nothing was put away.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a shirt out, draped over the bed, a book that's on the floor that was opened, but not like it may have been, it had fallen off the bed. The bed's not fully made. This appears like what it would look like if several people burst in and dragged you off.
Ooh.
Probably a good layer of dust now too, because it's been some time.
Oh,
right?
been a long time.
Yeah.
43 years, 44 years.
Yeah. What about a journal? Any notes he may have kept looking at a writing desk? I assume that something like that would happen.
Yep. There's letters to the bishop. He would send them several at a time, all, dated, numbered for the bishop to know what, just monthly reports, kept a ledger, was always, you find from the ledger very quickly that he was always behind. Like it's just not a big community. So everything was pretty much, doing this for pennies. It was really late, early 1800 missionary work to a place that you would think would be already christened or, Christianed. But yet this area just didn't seem like it was taking well. He had some people, the village he writes in the journal that he has moments where he feels like they're stuck in two worlds. He talks about that. He talks about how they still celebrate certain holy days, even though he's getting through to some of the families, but they still celebrate old holy days, traditional like Imbolc, and the different solstices are still very important to them. And he's trying to weave his sermons into making them see that religion may not be, that both religions express those dates, right? You can see that here in our religion too, but just didn't feel like it was taking. He always felt like he was never really accepted. He taught a Sunday school, only had 2 or 3 kids ever at a time. Mm-hmm. It was really, it just never really took to where it needed to be.
anything, especially towards the end of any of these journals or any of these letters, the things that look the newest, did he talk at all about Bendrinker or any of these clues that talk about Bendrinker, lottery?
Yeah. The team each takes journals and starts paging through it. Let me roll a I'll roll a 1, 2, 3. Adelaide is actually the one who finds it. Did you like how I counted that out, viewers? I went, yeah, I couldn't just think to myself, pick a number. That was good. So that's just being honest. I rolled an honest die and I had to count out who it was on the camera. It's Adelaide who finds it. Adelaide finds an entry in a private journal that he kept that there had been 5 men several days before lost at sea. The boat came back. There appeared to be some sort of a black sledge in it. He's like, it seemed to make people very upset when the boat washed back up on shore, but there was no body in it. Obviously, they were capsized or they were lost at sea. Something happened to them, But it immediately, the next 2 entries before it went away, the next 2 entries were that the town had become hostile. That they were they had gone from cold and slightly, less than, it wasn't quite indifference where he was at before it all went wrong. It was communally, they would at least say good morning, that kind of thing. They would trade with him. They would talk to him, but it went from that to just absolute malignance almost, where they were just not even, they wouldn't speak to him, wouldn't look at him.
Just because 5 sailors were left at sea.
Were lost at sea.
Lost at sea.
Yep.
Okay.
He documents, other little things along the way of miscarriage, a year and a half before that. Things that would just be a normal part of the cycle of life. But the one that seems to kick it off is these 5 men in a fishing boat during bad weather who just didn't come back.
Yeah, correlation is not causation. So
right.
they're putting 2 together where they don't exist, thinking that the sacrifice to Bendrinker is somehow protecting them, and
shows that they're extremely superstitious.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
extremely, like to the point of lack of reason.
Yeah.
Well, so here's a thought. I mean, we are in the middle of some isolated isles, and their lifeblood is the sea. So losing sailors at sea, when maybe during the old ways, if they made sacrifices, they were feeding whatever this is. But when they went to the church, the Christianity ways, they stopped making the sacrifices. And so the sea took its own.
Yeah, there's a direct correlation. So what happened in the first few episodes, right? When we started with A Box Full of Dreams, and before that one, we went into the Drowned. There was another correlation between Christianity and a water spirit, something like that. You're getting a definite, like, wow, there's a vibe here that's permeating. Like, we had a similar situation, and that spirit just wanted to be remembered. Like, that was something that really wasn't looking for like human sacrifice at all times. You get into this remote area of the world, and all of a sudden it's becoming far more malignant, far more aggressive. And this thing, it doesn't appear to be a god, right? It appears to be something that's just craven, weird. You just don't know. And I hate to use the word craven because we're supposed to be the cravens, but there's a definite. They're mixing mythology and their old religion into something that's just ghoulishly creepy, and they don't know how to control it or fix it, and they think this will do it. Yeah.
Okay, but that's all we find out of all this.
And the only other thing that Mercy notices is that the cross has been taken off the wall.
Well, that seems consistent.
It's so upsetting.
Didn't they use that to take him down to the beach? I thought they had him on a cross. Maybe it's just the way you described it.
No, his arms. Yeah, his arms were out, but
carried
he
down.
wasn't. He wasn't on the cross. No.
They
No,
were
and they
carrying him.
tied. Yeah, they had him out like that.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
But Steinar, excellent.
What?
If they grabbed the priest, if something like that, like that symbology of that religious person or this divinity, the open arms, the point, the straightness, the cross itself, if as he was being carried out, this one man that was the look he gave as he was being carried out towards the sea. They held him, right? They brought him out that way, and then they tied his hands up. Is it possible that Norvas Betterman and his family were one of the ones that were actually part of the church? So look, it starts to click with you. You're like, wasn't that how that guy went out there?
Oh, and like everybody that they're choosing, that list of, what was it, 7 people were all people that took to the church.
Well, you find in the tithing lists that, yes, his family, back 45 years ago, were one of the ones that actually were coming fairly regularly and were tithing.
Let's grab that tithing list.
Okay.
Who's left on it?
Yeah. Who else? We got to figure this one out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's who we can talk to.
Yep. So the 2 other names that match up are Jens Henderson and Harold Torvald. Yeah. Those 2 names were also on the tithing list. These other 6 or 5 that are chosen don't appear to be part of it. Their families don't have any connection that you can tell.
Well, considering it was 40 years ago, maybe they're already gone. Maybe that's just
some are gone, some are married in, and names have been lost. I mean, yeah, you have that's 2 generations of people already.
Yeah,
100% right. But 2 more, so 3 in total were absolutely on the list.
Okay, good. And I say let's hit the school next. The hell with the night. So we'll just break in if we have to. I don't have a lot of patience with these people anymore.
Wow.
I still have a gun. So
no,
I'm a little.
I've got a gun.
Yeah. I'm a little.
Let me help you.
Yeah. Right.
That is kind of, everybody just sit there because I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. We can tell that you are more of a Star Wars fan than Star Trek because the Prime Directive is screaming, "Don't you dare!" But that's okay.
Yeah.
Screw that. I'm Kirk. Okay. Nice. You break into the school, which I'm sure these people are going to wake up in the morning and be like, you just can't trust outsiders. They break into everything. But you break into the school. It is a 1-room plus. It's got a little creche that they can. It has just like some studies in it and little desks. But for the main room itself, for the bigger kids, is 1 room. There are books. There are local, some books here. They're, again, mostly in Faroese. The library itself is, I'm going to say, you know what? We'll do it this way. It is about 50 books. Math, some sciences up to about the 1750s, 1780s, things that were published back then. Not a lot of more recent things. Not a lot of anything published since about 1810, 1820. Same
what crime?
Well, again, if you really aren't buying into it and you're living an older way, no sense bringing it here because we don't want to read it.
Looking for more storybooks, especially about mythology, anything that would have any connection to the pagan ways, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You do find another book. There's no Bindricker tales in here, but there are tales of the gods and Odin, and there's there are passages that you find. Again, it takes a few hours to do this. So it's probably like 4 a.m. by the time you guys rifle through the journals back at the church and get into here. But you do see a story based on Odin, and let me get the other name for you here. My apologies. 1 second. It is Lodfafner, and it's a story. The story is called Lodfafner, and it talks about how Odin makes a pledge to this thing, this entity, that the greater good is necessary. And Odin explains to them why, if I make a deal with you, if I give you this, what will you do to protect the people behind me? What will you give? If I sacrifice, what will you give back? And it's this, again, it's not quite a cautionary tale, but it's definitely something that feels intertwined into this idea of this Bindriker and the way that they're interpreting it.
Sorry, you cut out on me.
I'm sorry.
Odin makes a pledge to something the greater good is necessary.
Yeah, it's the greater good. That if I give something small, if I give a sacrifice, that this thing will then leave the others alone or protect it. And it doesn't directly say Bindriker. It doesn't go into the ghoulish thing. It just talks about how a man like Odin, right, the All-Father, would make a deal with something very strange, very alien, very foreign to protect people. And if that required him to give something up, a little something up to save many, to do better for the whole, for all the people of Midgard, he would do that. Now, at the end of the tale, he tricks it. He finds a way out of it.
How?
The way that Odin does it is he sends Loki and gives the creature something that it thought it was, but it wasn't. And when the creature went to try to collect the sacrifice, Loki vanished, and the thing that was there was stone. It wasn't what he wanted. And this creature got angry, but Odin said, "Well, it's not on me; it's on Loki. Go find him." And it wandered off looking for the mischief maker. And that's where the story kind of ends.
So if we subcontract sacrifices, and then the subcontractor tricks the creature, we've got it.
Listen, I understand where you're coming from.
Does it talk about what the switcheroo was? Like, what did Loki put in? Whatever
Loki had. Well, again, being Loki and the story being an allegory, right? The thing was, by all intents and purposes, the sacrifice was exactly what he said it was. It was a pile of gold. But when he brought it out and the thing opened it up, it wasn't. It was rocks, stone and rock. So however Loki was able to make that work, and then Loki ran off and hid for so long, and the creature followed after him. So Odin basically said to Loki, "Listen, you're outside of us. You're never a part of us again. You do this, you can come back in." Well, it's dangerous, I know, but if you do this, if you can get it away, but it's got to look like what I did was right. I played my part. Oh. So it's this whole idea of a sub, but I did the right thing.
Yep.
What if we gave it dead people?
Again, this may take a little bit of time to figure that part out, but you're definitely on. The story tells of that you can outwit something if you put your mind to
it.
Okay.
You're doing this without the help of the people right now, which is understandable. That's freaky. And the books are going to be aimed at kids, so it's not going to be it's going to be very, again, allegorical. It's going to be little lessons that they can pick up on that are simple, but that seems to be the slant of this tale.
So I want to look around the school to see if there's any protective symbols or anything along those lines around the doors and windows.
Okay.
Like the building itself.
On the outside or inside?
Inside.
Okay. Inside, you don't find anything.
Okay.
But when you take the lantern out, because we're coming up towards that time, you take the lantern out, every shutter, every doorway is carved with the same symbol. The symbol that the team saw on the way up. You wouldn't have seen it because you were back at camp yet. But it's just a circle with 4 dots. It's got 2 lines, like a cross almost in it, which you're not interpreting cross like it's just a bisected circle with 4 dots.
Got it.
All right. That's where we'll end it for tonight. We'll be back in a week, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As always, let me put up the information about my amazing team, because without them, this goes nowhere. I want to thank them all so much. calling it down. You know their names: Lauren, Joel, Brenna, Betty, and Chris. They play the Kleiners, Kravenarians, the Cravens of the team, and they're just phenomenal people. So if you have a chance and you're heading out to what Betty, you guys first or where? Are you at Chaosium Con first or straight to Origins?
Some of the team is going to Chaosium Con this weekend.
Okay.
Chris and I will not be there, but Matt McLeod will be there. So, and a bunch of our great GMs.
So, unfortunately, this episode by the time it comes out is probably going to just be beyond that. So let's look at Origins. If you go out to Origins, stop by, say hello. I think Betty and Chris will be there. You're going to be at Origins. And meet the Lurking Fears team. Because you'll, if nothing else, you'll have a great time and you'll play some really amazing games if there's any slots open still. And we'll find out all about what you do when you get back. So enjoy that. We'll talk to you next time. And from all of us here, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the button. And if you prefer it as a podcast, that's easy to find. Kleiner's Kravenarium. Just go to the podcast anywhere you stream them. So from all of us, good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.